In this video, we're going to discuss about the derivative for a given inverse trigonometric function. Before anything else, I would like to apologize na may sinabi akong mali sa last video. Sa last video, di ba, sabi ko sa last part na after ng trigonometric function, we can now discuss sa logarithmic and exponential differentiation, di ba? Kumbaga, ano yung mga derivative ng logarithmic function at saka ang exponential function. For this case, dito muna tayo sa trigonometric function because there are two types of trigonometric functions na kailangan natin discuss. Una is yung ito, inverse trigonometric functions, and yung pangalawa, which is yung hyperbolic trigonometric functions. So after we discuss these two trigonometric functions, we can now proceed sa exponential and logarithmic differentiation. And of course, after those types of functions na discuss natin, we can now discuss the chain rule of differentiation. So why not discuss the chain rule of differentiation right now or at this time? Because I want you to know first yung mga basics, especially yung application nila sa sum and difference rule, product rule, at saka sa quotient rule. Para one day, if we have a given mixed functions, you know what to do. Okay? Kahit nasa pang-product rule pa yan or quotient rule or whatsoever, you know what to do na. Okay? So for now, we need to stick first at knowing yung mga derivatives ng mga given functions before you proceed to the chain rule. Alright? Alright, let's go. So this one, I'm gonna be brief, okay, sa pag-introduce nito because the formula in this derivative for a given inverse trigonometric functions, all of them are too similar. Kumbaga, almost the same ng sila. Okay? So, recap ng konti. So, for example, we have a trigonometric function of sine na may input na y and you have equal to x or equals x, sorry. Okay? So, dito sa trigonometric function, we have sine of y. Okay? Itong si y, siya yung input. Okay? At dito sa input na to, you need angles. Okay? Whether they are in degrees or in radians. Okay? Para makuha mo yung sagot o yung x niya mismo. Now, here's the thing. What if you have the x, pero you don't know the angle given o yung input ng sine function? Doon gagamit ka ng inverse trigonometric function. So, from this to this one, y is equal to arc sine of x or arc sine x. Or, since kasi I mentioned the arc, I can just simply write it as arc sine x or arc sine of x. So, both of them are the same. Okay? So, here's the thing. What would be the derivative for this type of inverse trigonometric function? Alright? So, dito yun. Okay? I'm gonna be straightforward na. So, let's start first with this one. Okay? What is the derivative of arc sine? Arc sine x. So, ang derivative ng arc sine x is 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Then, let's have the other trigonometric function naka-inverse, which is arc cosine. Okay? So, ano naman ang derivative ng arc cosine? Ang derivative ng arc cosine ay negative 1 all over, negative 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. As you can see, they are almost the same. Pero ang pinakakaiba nga lang sa kanila is yung sign nila. So if you're asked to get the derivative of arc sine, magiging 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Okay? But if you're asked to get the derivative of arc cosine, then you will get negative 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Yun yun. Okay? Almost the same lang sila, pero magkaiba ang sign. Pag positive, para kay sign lang yun. Pero pag negative 1 all over square root of 1 minus x squared, para kay arc cosine yun. So let's give ourselves some examples. So kunwari, we have the derivative of 2 times arc sine. So we have a constant and a function here, katabi niya. So as a result, we will have 2 times the derivative of arc sine. So anong derivative ng arc sine? Which is, ito yon, yung nasa kaliwa. 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Now, multiply them together, you will have 2 all over 1 minus x squared. Yeah, there we go. See? It's easy. All right? So let's have another example. Sabihin natin we have the derivative of 1/2 of arc sine. So in here, we have a constant na 1/2. So ilagay natin siya dito, 1/2 times derivative ng arc sine. So in here, we will have 1/2 times derivative ng arc sine, which is 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. So multiply them together, 1/2 times 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. We will have 1 all over 2 times the square root of 1 minus x squared. O, diba? So it's easy. Basta if you encounter this type of problem, you are asked to get the derivative of arc sine, automatic, ito yung magiging formula niya. 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Okay? Now let's proceed sa arc cosine. So ganun din naman actually. Okay? So third example. Wait, sorry. Third example, let's just say we have 10 times arc cosine. So in here, arc cosine, so dito, we will have 10 times the derivative of arc cosine. So ang arc cosine is what? Once again, arc cosine, ang derivative niya ay negative 1 plus, plus tuloy, all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Alright? So therefore, we will have negative 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. So multiply them together, we will have negative 10 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Yan na yung derivative niya. Okay? So one more example. Let's get the, wait lang, there you go. Let's get the derivative of negative 7 times arc cosine. So in here, we will have negative 7 times the derivative of arc cosine. So dito, we will have negative 7 times derivative ng arc cosine, which is 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Negative siya, by the way. So multiply them together, you will have positive 7 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. And that is how you solve a given inverse trigonometric function of cosine x, or cosine I mean. So yun lang guys ha. So once again, anong derivative ng arc sine x? This is 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Next, anong derivative ng arc cosine x? That would be negative 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Now, let's proceed to next to trigonometric functions. Now, we will discuss the derivative ng inverse tangent at inverse cotangent. So, let's start with this one. Alright? Ano yung derivative ng inverse tangent x? So, ang derivative ng inverse tangent x, this is 1 all over 1 plus x squared. Alright? Then, sa cotangent naman, derivative ng inverse cotangent, this is basically negative 1 all over 1 plus x squared. You see? You see the difference here? The difference here is the sign. Okay? So, ang derivative ng arctangent is 1 all over 1 plus x squared. Ang derivative ng arc cotangent is negative 1 all over 1 plus x squared. You see? Almost the same lang sila. Pero, magkaiba lang sila ng, magkaiba nga lang sila ng sign. So, let's proceed to our given examples. Okay? So, let's just say we are asked to get the derivative of 4 times arctangent. So, this one is easy. So, in here, we will have 4 times the derivative of arctangent. Okay? So, in here, derivative ng arctangent ay 1 all over 1 plus x squared. So 4 times 1 all over 1 plus x squared, we will have 4 all over 1 plus x squared. That's it. It's easy. All right? Now, another one. So let's just say meron tayong 3 halves ng arctangent. So ito, we will have 3 halves times the derivative ng arctangent. So, derivative ng arctangent, once again, it is 1 all over 1 plus x squared. So now let's multiply together. 3 halves times 1 all over 1 plus x squared. We will have 3 all over 2 times quantity 1 plus x squared. O, diba? So bottom line, derivative ng arctangent is 1 all over 1 plus x squared. There you go. Diba? Madali lang siya. Now let's try cotangent. Arc cotangent. So for this one, let's just say meron tayong derivative ng negative 2/3 ng arc cotangent. Okay? So in here, we will have negative 2/3 times the derivative ng arc cotangent. Wait lang ha. Derivative ng arc cotangent. So in here, we will have negative 2/3 times derivative ng arc cotangent. We will have negative 1 all over 1 plus x squared. So multiply them together, we will have positive 2 all over 3 times quantity 1 plus x squared. That's it. All right. Now let's have one more example. So we will have the derivative of, let's just say 20 times arc cotangent. There you go. So here, meron tayong 20 times the derivative of arc cotangent. Ayan. Alright? So, kunin natin derivative ng arc cotangent, we will have negative 1 all over 1 plus x squared. So therefore, meron na tayong negative tama, negative 20 all over 1 plus x squared. O, diba? Medyo binilisan ko lang kasi it's actually easy. Okay, dito pa lang, parang basics lang to. Na apply natin kapag meron tayong group of terms na naka-inverse. Pero worry not because at this one is actually easy pa lang. At least makuha nyo yung basic idea nito. So, to sum it up, ang derivative ng arctangent is 1 all over 1 plus x squared. And ang derivative ng arcotangent is negative 1 all over 1 plus x squared. Alright? Last but not the least is yung dalawang trigonometric functions, which is yung secant at saka si cosecant. Ngayon, what will be their derivatives kapag naka-inverse sila? Okay? So, what is the derivative of arcsecant? Ang derivative ng arcsecant ay 1 all over absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Ito, recall lang to, extra information lang to. Kapag may nakita kang dalawang vertical lines and between them ay isang expression or isang term, ibig sabihin nun, absolute value siya ng term na yun. So, di ba meron tayong x dito sa gitna ng dalawang line? So, ibig sabihin nun, this is the absolute value of x. Sorry sa handwriting ko. Absolute value of x ang tawag mo dito. Okay? Absolute value of x. So, ibig sabihin nun, kahit anong input mo dito sa x, whether it's positive or negative, positive ang resulta. Okay? Extra information lang to, okay? So, not literally a big deal dito. Just showing you the formula. Now, let's proceed sa cosecant. Okay? Ano naman ang derivative ng arc cosecant? So, in here, parehas lang sila ng secant, pero one difference. And you know it. Siya ang may negative sign. Okay? So, negative 1 all over the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Ayan. You see? Dito pala parang makikita nyo agad yung yung parang pattern dito. Parang I think you actually notice it. Si sine, positive. Si cosine, negative naman sa kanya. Si tangent, positive, pero kay cotangent, negative naman. So dito, si secant, positive naman siya dito, pero si cosecant, negative naman siya. You see? So, that is why I just basically sum it up in a quick manner. Kasi madali lang naman to. As long as you memorize the formula though, okay? So, let's proceed. So, for example, let's just say, kunin natin yung derivative ng, forgive me, kinausap ako ng nanay ko for a moment. Anyways, let's proceed. So, we have the derivative of 5 all over 4 times arc secant. Ayan. So, ito, we have a constant of 5 all over 4. So, magiging ganito lang siya. 5/4 or 5 all over 4 times the derivative of arc secant. Okay? So, ang derivative ng arc secant, this is 1 all over absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. So, multiply them together, we will have 5 all over 4 times the, wait lang, nabulol ako, times the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Yan na. Yan yung sagot. That's actually, easy if you know the formula. All right? So let's have one more example. Okay? So let's just say meron tayong 21 times arcsecond. So dito, we will have 21 times the derivative of arcsecond. So ang derivative ng arcsecond, this is 1 all over, once again, absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. So multiply them together, we will have the result of 21 all over the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. O, diba? So, basta, ang formula ng arcsecond is 1 all over the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Now, paano naman kapag ang given ay arccosecant? Okay, what if arccosecant naman yung given? So, dito, let's just say, sabihin natin meron tayong the derivative of 1/3 of arccosecant. Ayan. So dito, we will have like 1/3 times derivative ng arccosecant. So, magiging ano na to? 1/3 times? Ano ulit yung derivative ng arccosecant? This is negative 1 all over absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. So multiply them together, we will have negative 1 all over 3 times the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. O, diba? This is actually easy. Okay, madali lang to. Now let's have one last example. So let's just say we are asked to get the derivative of negative 10 all over 3 of 10 all over 3 times arccosecant. So in here, magiging ano na to? Negative 10 all over 3 times the derivative of arccosecant. Ayan. So this would be negative 10 all over 3 times. Derivative ng arccosecant is negative 1 all over absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Alright, so multiply them together, you will have positive 10 all over 3 times the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. And there we go. That's actually easy, to be honest. So yun lang naman yung gagawin ninyo if you have a given inverse trigonometric function ng cosecant x. So bottom line, ang derivative ng arcsecant is 1 all over x, absolute value ng x, times the square root of x squared minus 1. And ang derivative ng arccosecant x, the same lang sila ng derivative ng arcsecant, pero negative siya. So we will have negative 1 all over the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Okay? So, before I end this video, ipakita ko ulit sa inyo yung formula ng inverse trigonometric functions dito. Okay? So, you see the pattern na sinabi ko. Yung derivative ng arc sine, almost the same na silang derivative ng arc cosine, pero may negative sign nga lang siya. Yung derivative ng arc tangent at ang derivative ng arc cotangent, almost the same na lang sila. Pero, negative negative yung kay arc cotangent. And lastly, the same din dito, the same case lang dito sa derivative ng arcsecond at saka ang derivative ng arccosecond. Okay, almost the same, pero negative naman yung kay arccosecant x. So basically, kapag may nakita kang C, okay, C, cosine, cotangent, at cosecant. Okay, at saka naka-inverse trigonometric function to, expect mo na negative yung resulta. Okay? Negative resulta nito. Alright? So if we have sine, arc sine, so maging positive 1 all over, positive 1 all over square root of 1 minus x squared. So kapag merong cosine, negative naman siya. Negative 1 all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Next, sa second row, meron tayong tangent x, di ba? So ang derivative ng arc tangent x ay 1 all over 1 plus x squared. Then meron tayong cotangent, okay? Cotangent, arc cotangent x, sa kanya naman ay negative. So negative 1 all over 1 plus x squared. And sa last row, meron tayong derivative ng arc secant, di ba? So ang derivative ng arc secant ay 1 all over the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. Then meron tayong cosecant, okay? Cosecant, okay? So in here, we have arc cosecant x. So sa kanya naman ay negative. So here, maging negative 1 all over the absolute value of x times the square root of x squared minus 1. So basta kapag may nakita kang ganito, okay, ito, tingnan mo yung kapartner nila. Okay? Then, after take a look at yung kapartner nila, tingnan mo kung ito yung naka-letter C. Kasi kung yan naka-letter C, ibig sabihin nun, negative yung gagamitin mo. Alright? So yeah, bottom line, ito yung formula ng inverse trigonometric function. Basta yung lahat naka-C, okay? Cosine, cotangent, cosecant, basta yung naka-co na syllable, negative na siya automatically. Okay? So yun lang naman guys. Alright?